Okay, I just talked to a client who was working 60 hours a week, closing about 2 deals a month, and seriously considering changing his business from the inside out 2 months ago. Now, he's tripled his output because he measures it. Revenue is twice as high, and he's done by 3 p.m. most days. And the difference is not that he suddenly started working harder, but he started using 3 neuroscience-based protocols that I gave him to rewire his focus and his execution. I'm Castillo, founder of Selfmastered. We work with 410 founders with this exact systems to make them consistently execute at the level they know they can. What typically happens with every client we start working is that they know exactly what needs to do in order to grow their business. Maybe sending 100 DMs per day, or signing partnership, or shipping content like crazy, whatever. The strategy is very clear. The tactics are proven because they're following someone else's model. But every week looks something like this. On Monday, massive energy, they know they're gonna crush it. On Wednesday, they stop wasting time on reactive tasks, and by Friday, they're absolutely cooked, looking for the weekend. If this is you, realize that all the solutions you may have tried will never work, because this is not about time management. It's not about more discipline. It's not about having the perfect app. The problem is that your brain is literally wired for the opposite that you're asking it to do. It's wired for novelty. Is wired for avoiding discomfort. And that's 200,000 years of survival programming that you're not fighting every single day. It's not that you're lazy, it's that you're fighting your own biology, and you actually need to rewire your biology so you can be successful. What you need is not more discipline, it's to physically rewire your brain. And that is exactly what these 3 protocols that I'm going to share right now do. And I'm going to give you the neuroscience behind it because it really is pretty straightforward. Protocol number 1 is ring fencing. And I built this about 10 years ago to train your brain for deep focus. See, your brain operates in shallow work mode by default. It's constantly scanning for threats, novelty, and social validation. And that's why you check Slack 47 times during a 2-hour work block. Ring fencing forces your brain into depth mode. Here's how you do it. Step 1 is you pick one outcome for the next 90 minutes. Just one outcome. You must be specific enough so you know exactly if you have hit it. You don't work on content. You say, I'm going to ship 10 short form reels in the next 90 minutes. Step number 2 is you do 30 seconds of visualization of everything that is going to happen during those 90 minutes. Because this activates the same brain circuits as if you were already performing it. So it reduces the activation energy required to start. You don't need to force yourself to start because you have already started in your mind. Step 3 is 1 minute of breath work to calm your nervous system. This soothes your nervous system so that it does not trigger a threat response. Then you start a timer with a very clear ironclad rule. You are not allowed to look at anything outside of the task within those 90 minutes. And this works like crazy because if you don't get distracted over 90 minutes, you create the right conditions for neuroplasticity, which is the brain's own rewiring response. That requires 4 things: focus, attention, edge of skill challenge, immediate feedback, and repetition. And ring fencing applies all 4 simultaneously. Every time you run a ring fence, your brain progressively becomes better at entering that deeper state. The neural pathway responsible for sustained attention strengthens, and the one driving distractions weaken. So after 30 days, what used to take you 3 hours of work takes about 30 minutes. And we know, because we track it. We use a very simple dashboard and we log our ring fence session, which gives us the current streak, the win rate, the task accomplished versus started, and everything. And if things are going up, we know we're getting better, which gamifies the whole experience. That's how we know that the guy was going from 3 hours of deep focus to 12 hours. This is literally 3 to 4 times more output. And that's only protocol number 1. Ring fencing feels like magic, but it's not enough. You need protocol number 2, recoding. This eliminates the resistance that kills consistency. Because imagine that you are 40 minutes into a ring fence, you're making progress, but then your brain suddenly throws a tantrum. It starts telling you, this is harder than I thought, maybe I'll just get back to it after lunch. And most people will tell you to just power through it or quit. Both approaches fail because you haven't yet addressed the underlying brain pattern creating that resistance. Recoding processes that resistance in real time. And here's a protocol. When resistance hits during a session, the first step is to name the trigger, specifically what is going through your mind. Write it down. Step number 2 is to do some breath work very quickly, 90 seconds. That's all you need to calm yourself. And the best product for this is box breathing. This activates the brain calming mechanism. It helps cortisol, the stress hormone, decrease. And finally, step number 3, you cognitively reframe. You convert that thought into something useful. If, for instance, you're thinking, this is just too hard, I'm just going to give up, you think, this is exactly the skill I need to grow, let me continue. And this doesn't mean you're lying to yourself, it means you're reinterpreting what discomfort means. Step number 4 is to repeat this process until you're free to continue. And this repeated exposure to a trigger under low stakes threat reconditions your amygdala to just encode this as normal business. So over time, the neural pathway connecting difficulty to quitting weakens. And after 10 cycles, you don't quit. That pattern is gone. You are literally moving forward faster than ever. And my client, this guy, said that first week he had 10 recodes per session. And by week 4, he had like 1 every 3 sessions. So there was not any resistance anymore. He had become a dangerous founder. Now, protocol 1 is the foundation. Protocol 2 is consolidation. But there's a third protocol, which is what makes everything work. Without it, gains don't compound, but with it, they actually compound. That is recovery. This is what makes changes permanent. Because the brain is not rewarding itself during the work. It rewires during rest, especially at night. So if you don't rest, your brain literally cannot code the improvements. So the protocol is very simple. In between ring-fence sessions, you take a 15 to 30 minute reset between sessions. No screens, but you can move your body, you can hydrate, you can at lunch, you can call someone on the phone, or stare at nothing. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't look at a screen, because this helps you clear metabolic waste from your brain and actually refresh itself so you're ready to go. Then when you're back at home, 2 hours before bed, don't look at screen either, so you do not suppress melatonin production. And finally, and this is very important, 1 full rest day per week. No protocols, no admin, no send emails, no quick checks, nothing. This is what allows your brain to reorganize neural networks. This is when weak connections get pruned away and strong connections get reinforced. If you don't have a full rest day, ideally spent in nature or outside, you're just not giving your brain the rest it needs to get stronger. What actually changed in my client over the past 2 months? Well, 2 months ago, the guy was doing 12-hour work days, 6 days a week, and closing about 2 deals a month and doing about 8K revenue, I think. And he was, in his own word, constantly exhausting and actively considering doing something different. He just didn't like it. Today, he's done by 3 p.m. most days. He's closed 6 deals so far this month. Revenue is about 15K, and he said his higher energy he'd been in 3 years. He's now actively looking to hire. Same guy, same business, same market, same offer, same everything. The only variable that changed is his brain's ability to execute on what needed to happen without burning out. And that is the most important transformation that you can do in your business. That's the missing key. And this is not a lot of work. It's 3 protocols per day. It literally reorganizes what you're actually doing, and it's going to change your life. This is the most important thing you didn't know you were missing. So now go prioritize this. Work on your brain. And here's my challenge for you. Run a ring fence session tomorrow. Pick one outcome, do a 30-second visualization, 1-minute breath work, 90 minutes against the timer, and see how your brain responds. See how biologically ready you are for execution. If you want to speed this process up and become someone else in the next 6 to 16 weeks, book a call below. See you in the next video.